So my name is Jeremy Reich. I am based at NJIT, and I'm the project coordinator of the Future Ready Schools New Jersey certification program. And I'm joined today by the crew from West New York, who all but the preschool were certified this year. How many schools was that?
8 schools.
8 schools. Wow. That's a feat, just for the record. So we are a coalition, a rather unique coalition of the New Jersey Institute of Technology, the New Jersey School Boards Association, and the New Jersey Department of Education, who all support this particular program in really supporting for free. There's no payments ever for being involved in this, to just guide and support schools through how to best use technology in the classroom, how to best support technology in the classroom, to personalize learning and really help foster students who are prepared for success in college, career, and citizenship in the digital age. And that's really our big mission. And thanks to that coalition, I get to feed the wife and cats while I do that. So that's a real great honor. I have to make the joke once again. So if any of you are on social media, we are huge on social media, especially Twitter, at FRS New Jersey. You can also check out the hashtag FutureReadyNJ. If you want to see really great stuff happening in schools, just go on Twitter and you just look at the hashtag FutureReadyNJ. There's just amazing stuff happening in this community of what, like 3,500 educators, leaders, and stakeholders from throughout the state. So we've really bloomed in the last 3 years, which is amazing. Sometimes a little scary for me as the administrator and operator, but really amazing. We have been endorsed by all the New Jersey Education Associations, which is pretty cool to get them all together on a stage together and not have to worry about any fights, which is very nice. As far as programming goes, we are an adaptation of the National Future Ready Schools initiative that was based on Obama's ConnectEd initiative that we have taken to really develop a New Jerseyized version of that, as I like to say, to help guide and support schools through the process. The cool thing, we did not build this from ground up, so we had the content, but we also had the previous existing Sustainable Jersey for Schools program. How many of you have heard about Sustainable Jersey for Schools? Definitely check that out if you haven't. It's a really great program. I am slightly biased though because we took the logistics of that program and adapted it slightly, and we have Future Ready Schools New Jersey. Our missions are to organize your efforts through this process, through using and supporting the use of technology in the classroom, to foster collaboration, not just within your schools and districts, but more importantly, between schools and districts from throughout the state, to provide you support. This is literally all I do, so if you need to pester me, just ask the team at West New York. I'm there to pester as much as you need. I am there for you. And to connect you to resources, whatever they may be, while providing you the agency to choose what resources best suit your needs as a school and a district. New Jersey is just too weird for us to prescribe one particular resource. And there's a lot of great stuff coming there. The entire process is designed as a self-assessment. The certification is great. It's really awesome to have the banner, to have the celebration, to go to a workshop and go onto the award stage with the commissioner and Dr. Feinstein and representatives from NJIT. But this is what it's really about. Having a common language that's statewide and partially national-wide to figure out where you are now, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there, and have an entire state behind you, helping you, there to support you through that process. Nobody goes through this alone. So I'm going to skip through a whole bunch of this because you should really hear this, and this is a really unique opportunity that I don't get very often, to have a rather large team here to really tell you what it means from their angle, from their going through it with 8 schools out of 9 schools, and the 9th school coming next year, because I'm potentially biased. So as far as the community itself goes, we have 94, almost 95 districts that are officially committed to supporting their schools' efforts through the program. So that's a board resolution is a big important part of that, creating a district level team to support schools' efforts. This number is actually out of date. We're at 280 schools as of this morning that are officially participating in the program. And as of Workshop 2018, we have just honored 139 schools from 44 districts that were certified at either the bronze or the silver tier certification for 2018, which for year 2, it just blows my mind. If you want to know who can help you out through the process if you're interested, if you go to our website, FRSNJ.org/maps, you can find it, it's under the About section. There's an interactive version of this map as well as a list, and you can actually check it out on the homepage as well to see who's around you and who's in the community as well. We're also expanding our efforts this year to what I'm currently calling side initiatives for a lack of a better name. The National Future Ready Schools Initiative has created position-based resources through their Future Ready framework that's connected. So we are currently working with Future Ready librarians, Future Ready district technology leaders to create resources for individuals and individual self-assessments that can be used. We're also reaching out to teacher ed programs to get this to future teachers before they even get into the classroom so they can benefit from these resources. Finally, we have a monthly newsletter that I put together and put out for schools and districts. This is completely open. You can go to our website and check it out there at FRSNJ.org/newsletter. The cool thing about this is it's not just updates on what's going on with the program, although those are there, but also there's news that comes through the community and professional development events for your educators that I find through Twitter that are sent to me that I'm going to, that I compile into this one format so that you have something to look at and to share with the rest of your educators and leaders. So with that, if you want to learn more about the program, if you need support, if you have questions, if you want to heckle me, this is how you can reach me. I am the contact point for this. So whatever way that you reach Future Ready Schools New Jersey, you're reaching me. So I will be there for you. I will get back to you as soon as possible. The only thing that I ask is if you call that number, which is my NJIT office line, leave me a message because there's probably about a 95% chance I'm not in the office that day. I spend 2 days a week at workshop working with the folks down there and Patty's team and Larry's team. And I'm usually running across the states to random places to things like this all the time. So my schedule's a little bit bizarre. But if you leave me a voicemail, I get an email and I'll get back to you as soon as humanly possible.
If I could just interrupt, just a positive interruption. 3 hours ago, Patty Millett and I met with Dr. Joel Bloom, a name you may or may not know. Dr. Bloom is the president of the New Jersey Institute of Technology in Newark, a very terrific university, and he has agreed, because of the success of the program, again, our key partner that I mentioned before, along with the DOE, but he agreed about 3 hours ago to continue the program with Jeremy at the helm. And NJIT pays for Jeremy's salary and benefits completely, although 2 days a week he's embedded on our staff in Trenton, but the president agreed to continue the program through June of 2021.
Thank you. And it's only with the support of NJIT and school boards and DOE that any of this is even possible in the format that is possible. I don't know of any other program like this that has brought so many people together, so many organizations together in a positive way to provide something that's absolutely free and voluntary. This is never going to be a compliance thing. We're never going to knock down your doors, board members, or your superintendent and say, hey, why haven't you done this yet? Maybe your neighbors might do that, but we won't. So it's just a real awesome honor for me to be a part of this. So let me know how I can help. I'm dedicated to supporting you. I'm here to support you. They enable me to do that. And if it's something I can't answer, I've got school boards, I've got DOE, I've got folks at NJIT, I've got task force chairs and co-chairs who are absolutely passionate and spend way too much free time supporting me and supporting the community through this, let me know. We'll get you to who you need to get to. And with that, hear from the people who've gone through it. That's what's really important. So I'm going to leave the floor to you guys. And if you ever need me, let me know. I'm here for you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
On behalf of our superintendent of schools, Clara Herrera, we're honored to be here to present to you on our experience in achieving future-ready status. My name is Richard Costa. I'm the administrative supervisor of educational programs in West New York. This is the team that has come with us to present.
Hi everyone, my name is Yunarkis Estevez. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for West New York.
Hello everyone, my name is Nelson Lopez. I'm one of the administrators at West New York Schools.
My name is Mercedes Estevez. I'm a 4th grade teacher at Harry O'Bain School, and I was on the Harry O'Bain Task Force for Future Ready.
Hi, my name is Lisa Martinez, and I'm a technology teacher for one of the schools in West New York.
Lorenzo Correa, Administrative Supervisor of Data Programs, West New York.
In the year 2015, our district embraced the STEAM initiative, brought about by our superintendent, who was hired that particular year. STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, focuses on combining content areas and finding curriculum links instead of teaching them in isolation. This is a big push in our district, all the way from central office to administrators, down to teachers, and obviously students. Students are exposed to real world concepts through STEAM integration. The STEAM model provides high quality learning opportunities that simulate the skills needed for 21st century skills. Now, our vision of the STEAM program in West New York is comprised of a balance of 3 key concepts. The STEAM mindedness, which is the integration of science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, the New Jersey students' learning standards, and the engineering design process. So what does this mean for our students? Guided through the standards and utilizing concepts previously mentioned, students engage in collaborative, in-depth, meaningful learning. The goal of this approach is to provide students with real-world skills acquired through rigorous cross-curricular learning. In doing this, students will be prepared for life outside high school and will master content through authentic, inquiry-based learning. In West New York, our students use creativity and innovation to become critical thinkers and problem solvers. Another component of our move towards future readiness was the establishment of a data team, along with a district diagnostician and a statistician. We have the supervisor of data, who will actually speak to you a little bit about how that process came to be.
All right, so a few years ago, when the superintendent came on board, she had realized that data within the district was sort of compartmentalized and was sort of all over the place. You would have different departments that would use it for different purposes, but it was never really, organized in a way where you can take that data and create longitudinal data sets. They were all individual. So what she had created was, or her vision was to create an organized system in which the data would flow. So she has you can't really see it here, but there's sort of a hierarchy in which she established. And effectively what happens is we really just solidify what the roles are. Typically what had happened prior was data would come in from various state agencies, or we would create our own data, and it would sort of stay within its little bubble. And the goal was to really have data flow throughout the entire district. And one of the things that she had done was she invested by hiring a statistician, which is somewhere right in here, who has been amazing for us. She has helped us to create many data sets that go directly to the classrooms. We're talking about the change from data being used at the district level to that same data being used within the classrooms, actually to the classrooms, customized to that group of students, that set of students that they have at that time. And that's been a huge change for us. Very proud of all the work that she has done, and this has, again, been a change that she had started 4 years ago. Very, very important, and it flows perfectly with one of the indicators for future ready.
Another focus of our superintendent was a push for innovative programs. Innovative programs were created to foster technologically enriching environments in order to better prepare students for the information age and digital society. Some of our programs include coding and robotics, starting at the kindergarten level, bringing it all the way up to grade 12. We've invested in BBots, Dazabots, Dash, and Dot robots for early learners. We've also implemented Arduino, Raspberry Pi, Scratch, and block programming. Another program that we have implemented is CSI Forensics. It's an enrichment program which is after school, and our students there learn how to analyze evidence as a forensic scientist. So they actually become a forensic scientist utilizing STEAM-based approach, where the class features hands-on activities. Students delve into chromatography, fingerprinting, DNA, hair and fiber analysis. Students use higher order thinking skills to basically solve a crime scene. We have also implemented makerspaces in all of our media centers, capitalizing on the maker movement that is so popular today, affording students the opportunity to create and innovate both during the school day in our media centers and also after school and enrichment programs. We have also implemented a program called Global Connections, and this is a program that encourages students and teachers to develop global consciousness and promote international awareness. Students in our classrooms connect using Skype or Google Hangout and have live interaction with students in Gijón, Spain. So this not only serves as a cultural and language exchange, but also allows for international teacher collaboration and professional development. It's digital learning with a cross-curricular focus. We also have a program called Aerospace Engineering. And that particular program is in collaboration with the Civil Air Patrol. Our students target astronomy, aerodynamics, flight, weather, rocketry. We have individuals from the Civil Air Patrol come in and train our teachers through intensive PD, and then teachers in turn provide lessons for our students in classroom and also as extracurricular activities. We believe that professional development is essential, so all these programs would not be where they are had it not been for our ongoing job-embedded PD. We have a master teacher of technology in district. We also have a master teacher of mathematics that is dispersed throughout the district, assisting teachers whenever needed. We have definitely brought in new approaches to teaching. Project-based learning has been a focus, as well as inquiry-based learning, as well as blended and flipped classroom approaches. Partnerships that we have put into place. We have State Institute of Technology, which has provided PD in Engineering is Elementary, which is a curriculum that targets engineering practices. We have also partnered with Liberty Science Center for hands-on approaches and inquiry-based learning. The next one is Colegio Montedeva, that is our partner school in Spain, that creates those interactive activities with our students via Skype, and Rutgers University makerspaces, as well as Civil Air Patrol, which I alluded to earlier, being part of our aerospace engineering program. I'll hand it over to our principal.
Thank you.
PS number 5.
So about 7 years ago, our assistant superintendent, who is now our superintendent, had a vision of moving to a one-to-one Chromebook initiative for all our students. So she asked us to come up with a proposal and how we were going to roll it out, how we were going to implement such a new initiative. So all the administrators, we got together and we came up with a plan. Basically in the elementary school, we were going to begin with the 6th grade, and this was about 7 years ago, so a lot of collaboration had to take place. So as we were discussing our plan, we figured that since at middle school, our 6th graders will fit into the middle school, and then middle school feeds into the high school, we will have the initiative started in those grades. So in the elementary school, we started in 6th grade. In the middle school, we started in 7th, and then in the high school, 9th grade. Providing also a Chromebook card for the lower grades so that they can, have it at least once a week while we move the initiative forward. One of the challenges was how were we going to fund such a big endeavor for us? And so one of the things that we looked into was more collaboration with our Director of Special Services and collaboration with our Supervisor of Bilingual Education. And so we used Title I money and IDEA money and of course school fund money. So there was a lot of collaboration between the Board of Education, Board trustees, and of course the IT department. And we all came up with a plan how we were going to do this every year. So like I said, it started 7 years ago, and now we are lucky to say that we have 2 state-of-the-art labs in each school. We have a STEAM lab in each school, as well as we have in the elementary school, 3 to 6th grade, they have a one-to-one initiative, and every other grade has a center of Chromebooks. The goal, of course, is always to increase. We have to always maintain. Mr. Esteves will speak about maintaining and sustaining those tools. With those tools, obviously we had a lot of challenges, and first is a cultural change. So environment and culture has to change, so we had to empower the staff with that, how to accept the tool. And so one of the things that we did was we ran a CPT model, which is the ed count model, where teachers teach teachers. And so what we did was we did a survey and what was important to the staff. What did they want to learn? What, so that the CPT or the professional development was meaningful to them. So that's how we did it. So we now were able to come up with many different topics, and the teachers will do it during the common planning time, during professional learning seminars, and of course, we had to reschedule so that we had all the teachers available on one common prep. So like that we can give them more information, whether it was data, or, to drive our instruction, or where it was data to improve the different programs, or whether it was just teaching them about Google Suite or Google, let's say, Forms or Google Classroom, whatever that part that they needed. So that's how we started changing the culture of the school, and now we have everybody on board. This initiative actually taught us that where we are and where we need to go. And so all the staff, because it's not just a one-person thing, it's a whole school environment kind of change. Everybody has to become part of it. And so that's what we did here. And everybody pulled together, and we were able to secure the information we needed. Thank you.
We're going in reverse here.
Sorry. We won't take much of your time. We're just classroom teachers. For us, the process was very. Oh, we're just. Well, we're not going to elaborate.
They're the heart of the operation.
We are.
Just think about you guys.
But when you think about it, it doesn't work unless you have the support from above, and that's what's important. So when I say that we're just classroom teachers, if we don't receive our support from our administrators along with our superintendent, if she doesn't have a clear vision, then it just becomes it gets our job just that much harder. So for changing the culture is very important. And as a classroom teacher, you might get some of the resistance from others, but it's not because they don't want to. I think it's just the fear of technology that some don't have. But with the support and the CPTs, that's what makes it possible. It allowed us to become future ready. Our classrooms are filled with authentic learning opportunities for our students, that digital citizenship that goes along with it. And again, it's being the facilitator in the classroom, because our students do have a lot of knowledge, and sometimes they even teach us, which is the best part. And we're, as much as they get in awe, we are in awe also with how much they're able to embrace it and how much they're ready to take forth with technology. It just becomes first nature to them as well, as to some teachers, you know, but we understand that the culture change is very difficult, and as long as we just receive our support, that's what's important.
Well, I'm the digital, since I am the technology teacher, I feel that a lot of it falls on me to make sure that the kids are learning how to use all these tools, because although, you know, we can have all these amazing things, the kids are the ones that need to know how to navigate through them. We do, through our CPTs, we do learn from each other, and we do have training at times, and we share the trainings that we go, and we just, basically for myself, it's just getting the kids to be able to use the tools, to be able to get the kids to be able to do a video, to be able to make movies, to be able to do that critical thinking and put it in a program, to be able to create a presentation without taking time from the teacher, from the classroom teacher, to have to teach it. That's where I come in, and you know, the technology portion of it is a big component. Like she said, changing the culture. Sometimes I get resistant, or I get like, oh, here she comes, you know, but it's just changing and making everyone feel comfortable, and the kids take off, and sometimes they, like she said, sometimes they teach me, I give them a task, and they go way and beyond, and I'm like, oh, okay, then I take it a little further, and that's how we create amazing things.
And I think it's
I give them, and it's like, we empower them. We empower them because it's on them. You know, they're creating, they're making.
It's individualized.
Yes, I give them tons of choices. I don't say, okay, today we're gonna learn. No, they have choices. Okay, what do you wanna learn today? Do you wanna learn, you know, you wanna go through your Google Slides, through your Google Docs? Do you want to create a video? And that's basically, and I do that all the way from kindergarten and up.
And I think just remembering that technology shouldn't be taught in isolation.
Correct.
It's not just the computer teacher's responsibility.
And digital
classrooms,
citizenship, and the digital citizenship is so important, I think, here with Future Readies, where we realize that as a one-on-one initiative, teachers and students are with a Chromebook all day long, so we do have to teach them safety, how to keep safe, because, you know, they have to be empowered with that. Teachers also as well. You're constantly, our IT is constantly sending us information. We feed it off to the kids, and we do a lot of, you know, digital citizenship, making sure that they understand that they have to keep safe.
And just remember, technology doesn't replace your curriculum, it just
Correct.
enhances it. It just makes it all that much better. And that's what's important to understand. And once you get your teachers to understand that, the fear starts to go away.
You still
You're
have
not
to
being
teach,
replaced.
yes.
You're not being
Yeah.
replaced by a device.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like when you go to Walmart, you know, you're being replaced in that sense. But, and you still have that initiative, which is nice, you know, and that's what's important. So, any questions that you have, we're always here.
Thank you.
No.
Yes.
That's Mike.
Go ahead.
Did you have a question? Did you want us?
Yes, yes. I actually smiled when you said, you know, during the presentation, I think the other thing you said, every school except for the pre-K school.
Correct.
Because one thing that I found out from feedback from our district that we're starting to have is that some parents don't want children at that age to have that much screen time. And so, how do you work out a balance on screen time versus, you know, doing those, you know, project-based learning and, you know, other activities
That's what,
around that?
we've been
Well,
helping
right.
we've been helping the
The pre-K,
pre-K, and that's exactly what they said.
Right, one of their things is that they could only be on it for 15 minutes. So it's not a whole day thing.
No.
Right.
So it's just a cycle, it's more scheduling. Because it's not just one school in pre-K that we have several,
Okay.
quite several. So it's more of a scheduling kind of deal so that everybody gets to use technology
Okay.
at that age. Because they don't wanna be, you know, you can't be on, like, at that age,
Right.
just on the
On the
computer,
screen.
Right.
on the screen, right? So they
And it
have to
also
do all
ties
the
in,
functions.
and it also ties in with the program, we're doing gold, right?
Right,
Is that-
yes.
yeah.
Assessment tool.
An
Right, the
assessment
assessment
tool,
tool,
so sometimes an assessment
creative
tool can
curriculum.
be used as a technology
Correct.
component.
right, creative curriculum and the goal assessment go together. And so that's part of, you know, their technology piece.
In future ready doesn't mean that you have to be on a computer all day or on a
Right.
Chromebook.
Right.
Like you said, it just enhances learning. You don't have to be in front of the device from the moment you walk into the school to the time you leave. That's not the purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna cut in for a second there, because that's absolutely right. It's about you infusing technology in the classroom, because if students are gonna be coming into a job by the time they get to career, if they're in kindergarten or preschool now, we have no idea what they're gonna be running into once they get to career or into college. So they need to have that infusion of technology in the classroom, but at the same time, it's not just technology for technology's sake, and it's certainly not having technology all the time. You want to have the most effective and efficient use of technology, and honestly, if the pencil and paper is the most effective tool for a particular item, use the pencil and paper. That's entirely fine, and that might be even more necessary. You need the technology, you need them to be prepared, but if you see a classroom where rows of desks with kids in front of computers for the entire time they're in school, that's going to fire a problem more than anything else.
There's another question.
I think we had another question on that.
Do your students take their Chromebooks home, or do they leave them in school?
They don't take them home yet, not at this
Okay.
time. They leave them in school.
You know, I've been doing this for 20-plus years, and I started back when it was the Apple IIe's.
We're just talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you guys are doing, and I commend you for it. And I highly recommend that all districts do this.
It's a good
Thank you.
opportunity
You
for
know,
self.
back when it was the old Apple IIe's, it was the teachers like, yeah, they just sat there, you know, and it took quite a long time before the staff recognized what technology is all about, so you guys are doing a great job.
And it's important to know that your children are ready too. Like, we have 5 children, I have 5 children myself, and we have 5 children ourselves. And it's nice to know that in the future, our kids are gonna be able to sustain out in the real world, and it's nice to be filtered. And it's nice, especially to start at the younger age. I think it's a positive, because as classroom teachers, we say, oh, if they would have just learned this a few years ago, by the time they get to me in 4th grade, they're masters. They're teaching me a lot more, and not only, they become facilitators to their peers. So a lot, my role as a classroom teacher has changed because I'm a facilitator in the classroom. I allow them to run with their ideas, and they teach. And then maybe if I have to teach one student how to do something, by the next time he's teaching or she's teaching 3 or 4. It makes life a lot easier.
And I think that by giving them that free choice, like she said, it allows you to facilitate, sit next to a student who's struggling. Because they're all working on different things, and then you can actually walk around, facilitate, and actually sit down and say, okay, let me help you, what do you need? Oh, let's work on this, let's work on that. Instead of just being in front of the classroom dictating what they have to do. Because technology is all about figuring it out. Sometimes things work perfectly, and then you go to do it again, and it's like, oh, this time's not working, why? No, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's the
Sir.
passion, it's just
The
the passion.
One important piece you haven't mentioned is the parent buy-in on all this. The reason I bring that up, because last year I attended a meeting up in Ridgewood, New Jersey, at a parent's home. There were about 12 to 15 parents there and the superintendent of schools. And they were attacking. They were coming up with studies that show how kids' brains are being fried by looking at the screen, how they're going blind. They kind of went too quickly.
Right.
And how are you combating that?
Well,
Okay.
Go ahead.
so basically, we have parent meetings constantly. We have a PTO, and we also have a parent involvement program, and we have that in the morning. So we have 2 different parent meetings, one in the morning, one at night, so that we can hit as many parents as possible. Our parents actually embrace the idea, because they don't want their students, their children to carry books and, different kind of problems, like at that age. They don't want to carry 2 or 3 books home, because it's too heavy. And so now we actually put the material in a Google Classroom, which is easier for them to access at home.
24/7.
Right, 24/7. So basically, they can do the homework at home, but the information is already inputted into a Google Classroom created by the teacher.
But is it ongoing?
And it's ongoing,
Yes, and
correct?
parents have access to those
Correct.
Google Classrooms.
And parent can actually see the students' work, their children's work.
And when the student is struggling too, there's been time that I'm home cooking and I have an alert that comes
Yeah.
in. Ms. Estevez, I don't understand so-and-so problem, and right there, I'm on real time, opposed to a child who is struggling that has to wait until the next day because they didn't understand something, so I'm constantly connected with my parents.
And then I don't eat on time.
Yeah.
Your husband is hungry.
Yeah, but it just offers that much more of a closer relationship with your students, where you understand that learning just becomes a little bit more personalized. I can communicate from home with a student who is working on a Google Drive project and is working on a
And you
Google
can
Slide,
collaborate with
and
them.
we can just collaborate. We can all be on real time, which is amazing.
How do you deal with when students do not have that technology at home?
We have open access labs.
Right. Right, and that's how we get a lot of our students, well, I'm not gonna say a lot, because we actually did a survey
Yeah.
recently, and like 90% of our students have access at home. But that
I'm
10%.
from Gatlinburg, so I understand.
Right, no, but that 10% that do not have access at home, we created an open access lab for them in the morning. So they can come in the morning and they can stay late in the
Yeah, or
afternoon.
in the afternoon.
So either way,
Good. All right.
like, some kids can come early, some kids stay later, but they have that access. And also working through the town with the
The library.
library, they can also access the library as well.
And being a G Suite helps us a lot.
Correct.
Mm.
And I-
Most students will have mobile phones, so even if they don't have a computer or a Chromebook at home, most people have a mobile device,
Right.
which again, they can access all of the Google suites
That's
using
And
those
through our
devices.
PTO, we have taught the parents how to
Correct.
navigate their phone. So we have a
Right.
tech night where the parents come in and we tell them, okay, take out your phones, and we show them how to, we've logged them into Power School, we've logged them into Google Classroom, so they can know how to use these tools.
Right, like, the whole idea is not just the school, but the community as well. So we have to educate everybody has to be on the same page. And that's the key, that's what this did for us. It got us together. And now, it brought everybody together, it brought the school, it brought the community together. So now we are working together, the parents see what we are doing, they see the progress because that's, at the end of the day, is progress. That's what we wanna see, we wanna see growth.
So out of this program, you got most of these projects that you actually accomplished because of this program?
Well, a lot of the stuff we had, because we've been doing that.
Yes.
We
So
started
already-
this a while ago,
Mhm.
but this is a tool that tells us where we are. So this is
Self-assessment.
a self-assessment tool.
Okay.
It tells you, okay, this is where I am, this is where I need to be, and now you can develop a plan to get there.
So like, you can't start today and be future ready, like in April,
Right.
that's not gonna happen. That won't happen.
Right, no, it takes a lot of planning, a lot of collaboration, and the good thing is networking. Because, the key here is networking. We don't only just talk to us in the town, we network outside the town.
Twitter, I live on Twitter.
I
I
have,
do, I get tons of ideas, I see what's going on, I'm up to date with with different things. I definitely suggest you log into Twitter.
Absolutely.
We have a contact with NASA in Alabama, so we also Google Hangouts with them. And so, we outside here, so now we are with somebody else. So those are the things that we are trying to.
You know I'm writing all this down.
We can send you a video.
Thank you, please.
We're so excited.
So actually, with Future Ready, I want to say, one of the great things about Future Ready is it offers you an amazing framework of tools that you can go through. And if you're not doing those things in your classroom already, go ahead and do them. Whether it's in your classroom, whether it's in leadership, whether it's in technology. Like I said, we've been doing many things for many years, and once we went through the indicators, we said, well, I think we've been doing this for a little while. I think we have to go ahead and certify all of our schools, and that's what we did. But it was also a learning process. And again, all these different areas, technology, education and classroom practice, and leadership, they all have to work together seamlessly. So although we're talking about them in separate areas, they all have to work together seamlessly. So I'm going, I did the same thing. So I'm going to talk about technology. And again, one of the key components, if you're gonna do this, you have to think about your technology infrastructure. What kind of infrastructure do you have? Okay, your local area networks. What kind of speed do you have? Your wide area networks. That means how are your schools interconnected? How is your network designed? Your internet bandwidth. Do you have enough bandwidth to support the growing devices in your schools? Right now, we started off with Chromebooks. We have about 5,000 PCs, and we started off with a couple hundred Chromebooks. Now we have about 6,000 Chromebooks district-wide. So that internet bandwidth has to grow. So there's a lot of planning. We went from a 1 gig bandwidth to the internet to 10 gig 2 years ago to support all the growth in our district. Our wireless access points, what do you do with that? You can't have, I'd say 8 years ago, we would have like a couple of access points scattered in hallways. That won't support many students using that same access point. So what we did about 7 years ago is we've dedicated a single access point to every single instructional space in the district. And if it's a cafeteria or an auditorium, we're adding 2 instructional spaces. And this year, we're putting access points outside of our buildings to have alternative learning environments. So if you want to go outside on a nice sunny day and sit at the bleachers by the football field and do some work, you can. If you want to go out and sit by the courtyard, or you want to go out, and some of the schools have to close down the streets and work in that area during lunch, you can. Those are some of the things that we've put together. Again, the server infrastructure, what are you doing with that? Over the years, we've minimized the number of physical devices that we have, the servers. We've gotten a lot greener in our environment. And then a lot of people have talked about G Suite, formerly known as Google Apps for Education. So it's basically a productivity tool from Google that allows amazing collaboration. And it works great and everyone loves it. And then once you have all that infrastructure and all that stuff going, this is what the parents really worry about, is student data privacy. Okay? And student data privacy, and we also have to protect the privacy of our staff members. You have to do it through policies. We all know what HIPAA is. We have FERPA, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So we are responsible to protect that data. So what do? We provide training. Last year, we initiated a cybersecurity awareness program district-wide. Okay, and if anyone, I highly recommend, if you're not doing that yet, start doing it. Just last week, I don't know if you heard, Galloway Township Public Schools, they just ran into a cybersecurity incident where $400,000 was wired outside the district. $200,000 was recovered. There's another $200,000 that's out there that they haven't been able to recover. And again, cybersecurity, you have your people, process, and technology. You could have the best technology, you could have the best firewall, the best web filter, but if you don't train your people, that is the weakest link. 95% of successful cyber attacks is because of a human component, because that person is not trained on the other end. Technology is not perfect. Am I going the wrong way again? No, I went the right way. So the other thing I highly recommend is, again, you need to have a good technology support staff. Right now we have an IT specialist assigned to every building. We have a network administrator that manages most of that infrastructure. We have great partnerships with a lot of vendors throughout the state. And again, a lot of these IT specialists work with the building principals, like Mr. Lopez, to put together school-wide tech plans, lifespan and refresh cycle plans. If you buy a Chromebook today, you have to know that in 3-4 years, you have to replace that Chromebook. So you have to plan all that. And we were doing a lot of these things, but Future Ready allowed us to put a lot of these things on paper, and that's where it helped us. We now actually formalized a lot of paperwork and documented all this. A service level agreement. I'll give you an example. We use LightPath for internet service. They have a service level agreement. What that means is that if their service goes out, they have 4 hours to fix the service. So what we've done is we've created a service level agreement with our staff. So our staff is our customers, and that gives the IT specialists a clear direction, and it tells them if something breaks or something happens in a classroom, depending on the priority level, you have to fix it within this time frame. So it gives them a clear direction. And again, then we have a technology support plan that tells the IT specialists that go to the schools every day what they need to do, what they need to check for in order to support and maintain the district. And lastly, again, very important is leadership, and we've talked about this before. I think many people have mentioned it, is culture. I would probably say that's the most important thing out of what we've discussed here tonight, is changing the culture. If you change the culture, you're 100% going in the right direction. And then again, you need your superintendent and board support. You need that. If you don't have that, it's gonna be very difficult, extremely important. And we've been fortunate that our superintendent and board has been on board for a very long time in supporting all of our initiatives. And then vetting instructional technology, what does that mean? Again, we don't work in silos, we all work together. I don't go out and say, I wanna buy this technology because I think it's cool. No, everything is driven by curriculum. Technology doesn't drive the curriculum, curriculum drives the technology. So the same way, when someone on the curriculum side wants to buy something, we all sit together with the budgeting team, technology, curriculum, building administrators, and we decide if that is a good tool for the district. We do that as a collective group. Again, for budgeting, we do the same thing. Curriculum department, technology department, our business office will meet multiple times a year with the schools, and we talk about what our plans are, what our goals are, what we want to do. And lastly, social media. Everyone's talking about social media. We use that to leverage community outreach, to reach out to the community. And one of the favorite tools that I know Jeremy loves is Twitter. I cannot tell you how important Twitter is, because you can, especially for teachers, board members, wherever you are, it's a great professional learning network. You can go out there and find so many resources that can help you, and it'll allow you to network with other people and move your district forward. And I have, do we have any questions on this specific area by any chance before I move forward? Okay, so the last thing we have is we have a,
Nope.
you put that together, right? So we have a quick clip that we want to show you. It's about a 5-minute video about what our great teachers and students do in our classrooms every day. So it is going to take a few seconds to buffer, because we are not future ready here. We're running off 3, 4G right now.
You can play my phone, sorry guys.
So I do have one quick question.
Yes.
With your Chromebooks, when you refresh your Chromebooks, what do you do with the old Chromebooks?
They get recycled. Everything has to be recycled.
And what do you mean recycle?
So recycled means that we have to maintain exact inventory. We have to know what funds we purchase them with. They have to go through board resolution. The board has to approve it. And then we have a company that we work with that comes in, they pick them up and they take them, and they get recycled. So the last thing you want is for a piece of equipment to show up in landfill one day and have your school district name on it. And if it has a hard drive, so remember, a Chromebook is a cloud device. If it has a hard drive, we have those devices wiped based on DoD standards.
So, do you have to pay for the recycling, or do they pay you because they're getting equipment?
Okay, so I'm just gonna hit this, I'm sorry, while we're talking, because it's gonna take a little while. So, recycling has to be the best business in the world, and I'll tell you that because I get at least 7 calls a day on different recycling companies. There's so many of those companies out there that's incredible. The company we use now doesn't charge us. Many companies come out and they'll say, we'll pay you to pick up your equipment. We've never had someone pay us for the equipment, but again, that's because we've pushed equipment really hard. Usually when we recycle a computer, it's been 7, 8, 9 years, and again, we're moving in the direction where we don't do that anymore. And we've been lucky to have a good staff that's been able to support that equipment. But as part of this Future Ready initiative, we now created a table, and if it's and it's listed there. It's our guide. If it's a Chromebook, it goes out after 3 years or 4 years. If it's a laptop, X amount of years. If it's an administrative device, X amount of years. If it's an interactive board, X amount of years. So every device that we use has a lifespan. And that's kind of our guide that we're going to be following from now on.
Okay.
I think you're buffered.
The West New York School District has been Future Ready for a few years now. Future Ready is a statement to the public letting them know that we are 21st century ready and committed with the necessary tools for digital innovation, collaboration, communication, creativity, exploration, but most of all, it is getting our students ready for the careers that have not been invented yet. I am confident as the West New York School District will achieve the designation of Future Ready by the State Department.
PM board allows us to have interactive lessons where students can be active learners in a global community.